Welcome back to my channel, In-Flight Music. If you're new here, my name is Ian, and today I'm going to show you how I make all of my synth basses with stock FL Studio plugins that sound like this. Make sure you stay till the end for a secret technique that I haven't seen anyone talk about, especially when it comes to these synth basses, because this is what I use to make all of my synth basses. But a lot of people know about the FL Studio packs where you have your drums, your instruments, legacy effects, so on and so forth. Well, a lot of people forget that there are channel presets as well. This is actually how I save all of my 808s and all of my synth basses. Basically, all of my basses are saved as a channel preset. That way, even if I were to buy a sample pack and the 808 is off key or it's not on C, I'll go ahead and save that as a channel preset, and then I'll load that back into my project instead of loading the sample every single time and having to tune my 808s. But the reason I use channel presets for my synth basses is because all of the synth basses that I use are 100% from 3X Oscillator. This is actually what I recommend using to make your 808s as well. But if you go to these channel presets in 3X Oscillator, you'll get a bunch of presets that you never even realized that you had. The one that I want to point out, if I go to this old folder, I actually separated I made a bunch of presets myself, but if I go into my old folder, these are the presets that you should be seeing, I believe. And if you scroll down to synth bass, load up synth bass 5. I feel like this is the easiest one for you guys to understand what's going on. So we have 3 saw waves here, and just pay attention to these settings. It's nothing that you have to memorize. You have the preset right there. But if for some reason you don't, here are the settings. We're going to go ahead and go into the envelope section, and we're going to leave this alone, but we're going to go into mod X, and you'll notice that there's a little cutoff envelope here, and this is what the bass sounds like right now. Obviously not what we're looking for. All you have to do is just turn off this envelope because it's causing that sliding sound in the frequency, but now we'll have a flat sound. And another thing that you'll want to change, go into this wrench section, turn off the key tracking, and now all the notes will play exactly the same. And you won't be able to hear anything. And that's because if we go back into the filter section, we actually have to adjust this filter so that we can hear what's going on, because right now it's set to its lowest frequency. Okay, and now we have this mod Y, which is basically resonance. So let's turn that down and lower it an octave. And now we have might be a good idea to switch this to mono, and then you could add a slide option where you could slide in between notes when they overlap. So yeah, that sounds pretty cool. So now you have a stock synth bass that you could always rely on. You could throw this in every track. The cool thing about this is just without any effects. Some free effects that I recommend, there's always Blood Overdrive, which is a stock FL Studio plugin. If we're not talking about stock FL Studio, there's OTT, which is a multi-band compressor, and that stands for over the top compression. So it's really extreme. Really, that's about it. So it doesn't take much, especially when you're starting out with what we're hearing right now. Now for the super secret technique that I haven't seen anyone talk about, and it's with 3X Oscillator. If we go into my save preset here, you'll notice a huge difference here. So I don't have any of these waves selected. What I have selected is the sampler. So this is the hidden sampler. It's not really hidden, but it's the sampler that no one uses in FL Studio. You'll notice that this symbol is the same as this symbol. So this is the sample that I have loaded up in here. It's called HQ Ramp, and this sample is actually a stock sample in FL Studio. If you go into packs and go into shapes, go into high quality, boom, you have these weird sounds, just these weird clipping sounds. And basically what these are, they're just single cycle waveforms. And those are really powerful for you to use to insert into 3X Oscillator to make some crazy basses. So let me just run through some examples where I did this exact thing. So everything you see here that says SB or synth bass, those are synth basses. I've made over 150 of these for some reason because they're so easy to make and all of them sounded pretty crazy. These are some of my favorite ones right here that I've created. Also, if this video gets, let's say, 200 likes, I'll go ahead and release a free synth bass pack where I'll go ahead and sample some of my synth basses and then I'll give that out to you guys as wave files. That way you can use it in any program. Eventually, I'm going to release a pack of 3x oscillator channel presets that are all synth basses, and that way you'll have a lot more control over the synth bass versus using a sample. So let's go ahead and run through some of these synth basses, and keep in mind none of these have effects on them. These are just the plugin. So yeah, all those are made with 3x oscillator, utilizing and I use sharp ramp for this one. So there's more shapes than just this high quality or HQ, whatever that stands for. There's these miscellaneous shapes, and that's what I used here. So just more single cycle waveforms. Drop a comment down below if you want to see how I'm able to make even more different single cycle shapes for perfect synth basses, and I'll make a video on that. But until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.